of, under the property law. If you don't execute a will, what happens? And if you don't execute a will, if you don't have any heirs, legal heirs, the property goes to the government. In US, that's called escheat. So guys, because during the COVID time, many parents, many siblings, many people died without a valid will, which is called without a valid testament. If we don't have any legal heirs, and we had few clients who came to us, they didn't have no legal heirs, and if they die during the COVID time, who the hospitals has to give your dead body to whom? That's the first question. 2, if you have any bank accounts, who has to operate those bank accounts? 3, if you have a house. 4, if you have a car, if you have investments, or if you have a pension, who has to operate this and who gets this? The question here is, the legal heirs get this. What is the meaning of legal heir? The meaning of legal heir means it is defined differently under the different laws. If you take up in Hindu law, if your wife, your parents, your siblings, and your children becomes legal heir, and that is an Indian context. In the legal heir in America, as per the New York, under the EPTL, your wife, your children, not siblings or parents, they don't come into the class 1, first classification. If you don't have a wife or children, then it goes to your parents and the siblings. So every state has got its own succession rules. So one has to get familiarized yourself. The best part is to avoid the escheat, to avoid the government taking away your property, you guys better execute a will deed. And 2, if there is no will, many times we are not diligent of executing a will deed. If you don't execute a will deed, what happens? It is called intestate succession. If it's a will, it's called testamentary succession. If you don't have a will, it's called intestate succession. What is the meaning of intestate? That means there is no testament. Testament means will. When there is no testament, when there is no will of a testator, then the property goes as per the law. That's called intestate succession. So what is the meaning of legal heir? That means if you have if the man who dies or a woman who dies, they have a husband or a children, or if the husband dies, a wife and children, they become legal heirs of the property. So they can approach some lawyers, estate lawyers. They will do the paperwork and they will get the property, conveyed onto your name, like wife name or children name. Or if you want to do the distribution also, you can do it. And it's also called conveyancing in England. And in India, it's called mutation. So different terms are used for the transfer of property, basically the real property or the personal property, mobile property or immovable property. And there's an estate duty, and every country will charge if you have inherited some money. There is some inheritance tax sometimes. Even in England, it's there, and India is there, UK, US. Many countries impose a tax on that because you're getting a property from your ancestors or your parents, or your relatives. So the legal heir means you're entitled to get the portion of it. A succession certificate means this is specifically used in Indian Succession Act in India. You go to the court, and sometimes people have properties in India. Their parents have properties, and the children are settled in America. They're American citizens, and parents are Indian citizens. And your property, when the parents die, the sons or daughters in America, they have a right of that property to inherit it. So you go to court and file it in the district court and apply for a succession certificate. The legal heir certificate means there are people who are legal heirs. It could be siblings, it could be sisters, and it could be you and anybody. Sometimes even the grandchildren will have inheritance rights if you're going through Hindu law. And every country has got its own inheritance laws and succession laws, contact competent lawyers to get the property conveyed to you. So the legal heir certificate is very common. Succession certificate means the courts, after the probate and after the hearing, they declare that you are entitled for a certain share of the property. The courts will look into it, whether you are a class 1 heir or a class 2 heir, whether you are entitled, whether you're not entitled. all parties will be notified. It's a full-blown trial by the courts. These courts are called surrogate courts, and sometimes courts, also district courts and federal courts, have a power of surrogacy. And surrogate courts handle such matters. There will be a court fees, and there'll be an attorney fees or lawyer's fees, and there's going to be a publication. You have to publish that it's going to be a trial conducted by the surrogate court. So it's an expensive affair, and there's a process, legal process involved, and we will not be able to give you a specific answer for everybody. So contact local lawyers, and if you like this video, if this is any benefit to you, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please come back to us with some comments. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Share it with your friends and family. See you again.